Let's get to our top story. Former President Trump is calling for the release of the federal search warrant that led to the raid at his Mar-a-Lago estate. Now, this as the Washington Post is reporting that the classified documents the FBI were searching for are connected to nuclear weapons, among other classified information.
Late last night, the former president putting out a statement saying, release the documents now. And earlier in the day, he wrote this on Truth Social in part, not only will I not oppose the release of documents related to the un-American, unwarranted, and unnecessary raid and break-in of my home in Palm Beach, Florida, Mar-a-Lago, I am going a step further by encouraging the immediate release of those documents.
All of this, of course, part of a dramatic day, came after U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland made an unexpected public statement yesterday afternoon, announcing that he was asking the judge who signed that search warrant to release it to the public. And while Garland said he cannot discuss details of the investigation, he did look to make a few points clear during his news conference.
First, I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter. Second, the department does not take such a decision lightly. Where possible, it is standard practice to seek less intrusive means as an alternative to a search and to narrowly scope any search that is undertaken.
Garland also addressed recent threats against members of the FBI and Justice Department, saying he won't allow their integrity to be attacked unfairly.
And he also made a point to praise the work of FBI agents.
The men and women of the FBI and the Justice Department are dedicated, patriotic public servants. Every day, they protect the American people from violent crime, terrorism, and other threats to their safety while safeguarding our civil rights.
Garland once again saying the DOJ work will continue without fear or favor. Newsy national correspondent Haley Bull joining us now live with more on the crucial deadline the Justice Department faces today. Merrick Garland went out there first, called for it to be released late last night. Former President Trump said the same thing. Where does that leave us today?
Good morning. Well, the big question was, what would Trump's response be? And we now know, as you said, he's not only calling for the documents released, but encouraging it. The court had set an afternoon deadline at 3 p.m. for the Justice Department to advise what former President Trump's stance on unsealing the documents would be. So now we wait to see what the court says and what the court does. The Justice Department is asking for the court to unseal two documents here, the search warrant and the property receipt. And they base that off of a couple things. Trump already publicly confirming the search and public interest. The court says in its filing, the indications of the subject of this were already made public, citing a news article that reported agents were looking for possible classified material. And that's perhaps the most acknowledgement we've seen so far of the subject of the search. And Attorney General Merrick Garland, as you stated, said he personally approved the effort to seek a warrant in his first statement since the search. It lasted only a few minutes. He also said it was standard practice, though, to seek less intrusive means as an alternative, which perhaps alludes to the efforts leading up to the search at the former president's residence. Take a listen.
Copies of both the warrant and the FBI property receipt were provided on the day of the search to the former president's counsel, who was on site during the search. The search warrant was authorized by a federal court upon the required finding of probable cause. The property receipt is a document that federal law requires law enforcement agents to leave with the property owner.
Now, Trump and his representatives have not publicly disclosed the specific contents of those documents up to this point, but they have continued to criticize the search and the FBI and Justice Department. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said his attorneys were cooperating fully, that they had put a lock on areas they were asked to, but that Mar-a-Lago was raided without warning. He again called it a political weaponization of law enforcement. In a statement demanding the release of the documents, he stated, quote, "I'm going a step further by encouraging the immediate release of those documents, even though they have been drawn up by radical left Democrats and possible future political opponents who have a strong and powerful vested interest in attacking me, much as they have done for the last 6 years." The White House has stated that they did not have prior notice of the search. So next here, we need to see what the court decides in unsealing these documents that could provide a lot more insight into this search, what led to it, and what agents found during it. We spoke with a Harvard law professor about the significance. Listen.
Merrick Garland, I've known him for 20 years now, is extraordinarily careful, extraordinarily thoughtful. And so I believe that he really considered this, weighed the costs and benefits, and made the decision that for the good of the Department of Justice as an institution, he ought to move to unseal these documents. The last thing I'll say is that for the government to do a raid on the house of a former president, I suspect that the Department of Justice is near the very end of whatever investigation that they are doing.
Now, the Washington Post reports agents were looking in part for classified documents related to nuclear weapons, citing people familiar with the investigation. An attorney for Trump, Christina Bobb, said in an interview with Fox News she didn't believe there were any, but hadn't specifically spoken to the president, and went on again to try to frame it as politically motivated. If there were documents related to nuclear weapons, that would certainly raise the level of significance of this investigation by a major degree. So we will continue watching to see what the court says in unsealing these documents today. Rob?
And that's what everyone's hoping to learn. What documents do the feds believe were still there in Mar-a-Lago, and did the possession of those documents constitute a crime or not? We should learn a lot as the day moves on. Newsy national correspondent Haley Bull reporting live for us this morning. As always, Haley, thank you.